This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me today, as always. It is very much appreciated. I hope you're all doing well here on this Wednesday evening, the 10th of June. What I've got coming up for you today is we're going to review some classics here on my own personal YouTube channel, where we're getting a bit behind in classics. We're going to take a look at some classics that were ran in early May 2026. In this video, 7 classics we've got coming up for you. But before we start taking a look at them, I do like to mention my Patreon channel in these videos, Newman Racing. The Patreon is called. I think you should all head over there. You never know. It might be for you, especially if you're a fan of National Hunt Racing. The vast majority of the National Hunt Racing is now over on the Patreon channel. And there's also some resources on there that I've uploaded over the years as well that people might find useful. It's also the place where I do all the yearly reviews as well of all the horses in National Hunt Racing and in the Classic Watch project as well. You know, where I go through all the horses before and at the end of their 3-year-old campaigns. There's one of them due actually in a couple of months at the end of the Southern Hemisphere season in Australia, New Zealand and South Africa, because they start their season on August the 1st. Their 3-year-old season starts. So we need to be ready for that. So yeah, I do suggest that people do check my Patreon channel. If you're into horse racing, it might be of use for you. There's opportunities there to support me moving forward as well. It's by no means compulsory though, and I do think if you're looking to use it on a free basis, then I do think there's plenty there for you as well. So why not head over there and see what you think over at Newman Racing over on Patreon. So without further ado, let's review some classics, shall we? ClassicWatch26.great/site.net is where people will be able to find this year's edition of Classic Watch. There were horses were recommended for quite a few of these 7 classics we're going to take a look at. We're going to start the video by taking a look at 2 races actually that I didn't have any runners in. We're going to take a look at the Kentucky Oaks, the first US classic of the season, and then we're going to take a look at the South Australian Derby, a race held at Morphettville. We're then going to take a look at the first 2 classics in the United Kingdom, the 1,000 and the 2,000 guineas held at Newmarket, together with the Kentucky Derby, the second US classic for colts at Churchill Downs. And then we're going to end the video by taking a look at the first 2 classics this year to be held in France, the French 1,000 and 2,000 guineas races held at Longchamp. We won't actually be recapping any Classic Watch horses today because the season is still undercoming, and a lot of these are subsequently run in other classics that we will be reviewing at some point. But I will be touching on the individual performances of them in the races, so people will be able to see my views on them and what I was thinking of them at the time. So without further ado, we're going to start by taking a look at the first classic in this video, which took place, I think, on the 1st of May. The Kentucky Oaks, a race held for 3-year-old fillies at Churchill Downs. Bella Ballerina was always the Classic Watch pick for this race, but sadly she was injured in the build-up to the race, so she never took her part, sadly. But it was still a very interesting race to look at. We'll be using bloodhorse.com all through this season for the American videos. Again, I do recommend it for the American videos. They're all quite easy to find. It allows you to search via race level as well. So if you want to look at just graded races, it lets you do that. If you just want to look at maidens and claimers, it lets you search by track as well. But yeah, so bloodhorse.com and the race replay section. We're going to take a look now at the Kentucky Oaks held at Churchill Downs. And then after the race, we'll have a look and see what we think. That's the only trouble with Blood Horse. It doesn't really like going in full screen.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Always a runner in Prom Queen, brushed just a bit coming out of there. Explorer from the inside post quickly, racing out to the lead, and Dazzling Dame with some speed too. Pashmina 3 wide right there, outside racing third. Counting Stars over to the inside, saving ground as they charge into that first turn fourth. Meaning right in some heavy traffic, racing in fifth. Brooklyn Blonde far outside sixth. Zany's buried at the inside seventh. Always a runner right alongside her in eighth. Percy's Bar is ninth in the early going. Search Party down inside 10th as they turn to the backstretch run. Prom Queen is 11th. Lovely Gray 12th on the outside. And Resist is the trailer. In a swift opening quarter in 23 seconds flat. Here's the half. It's 46-4. Explorer guides the field down the backstretch run. Dazzling Dame is keeping the pressure up every step of the way, though. And these two hit the far turn 1-2. Counting Stars working out a beautiful trip so far. Third and down inside. Meaning's in between horses. She's making progress now. Meaning's up into third outside. Counting Stars down inside fourth. Then it's Always a Runner. Zany is stymied in behind horses. Angles off the rail. 3 lengths to make up there. Percy's Bar with a wide trip. She's trying to come with a rally as well. As they hit the top of the stretch, Explorer heads for home. Meaning to the attack. Always a Runner closing stoutly down the center of the racetrack. Farther back, it's Percy's Bar. Counting Stars down inside. 1 furlong to go. Meaning's up for the lead. Always a Runner runs at her. And here's Always a Runner up for the lead. Always a Runner in the race for the Lilies. Under the lights. Wins the Oaks by a length in the end. Meaning was second. Counting Stars, Explorer, Prom Queen, too late.
A fantastic finish there to the 2026 Kentucky Oaks, held at Churchill Downs. And it was Always the Runner that came
a legitimate
with a late,
tempo in the
sustained
Kentucky
effort.
Oaks. Explorer utilizing her inside post. How about the run from Meaning? She was into the race early, and right here she looks like she's going to make her move and come away with the lead, and she does. But here's Always a Runner. Chad Brown had been touting her all week long. Always a Runner, a sports car, and here she is cruising to the outside. A big day for Jose Ortiz. Let's give him a high five on the Kentucky Oaks card. The 152nd running of the Longines Kentucky Oaks to Always a Runner, Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz.
A good performance on the day there. I thought, well summed up by the commentator. It was Always a Runner, taking out the first American Classic of the season, the Kentucky Oaks. Sadly, no Classic Watch runners in the race. Always a Runner was the winner, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Jose Ortiz. The horse sired by Gunrunner out of a dam called Always Karina, who herself was sired by Malibu Moon. Always a Runner running out a 1 1/4 length victory, and for that run she was allocated a racing post rating of 119. Second place on the day was Meaning, who ran a very good race, trained by Michael McCarthy and ridden by Juan Hernandez. Meaning 1 1/4 lengths behind, sired by Gunrunner again. So a 1-2 for the stallion Gunrunner in the Kentucky Oaks, out of a dam called Figure of Speech, who herself was sired by Into Mischief. Meaning allocated a racing post rating of 115 for finishing second in the Kentucky Oaks. Third on the day was Counting Stars. A very good performance on the day. Counting Stars trained by Mark Cassie and ridden by Francisco Arrieta. Counting Stars sired by Honor AP out of a dam called Painter by Numbers, who unsurprisingly was sired by Painter. She was third, a further 2 1/4 lengths behind the winner, and she ran to a racing post rating of 113 on the day. Explorer was just out of the money, finishing fourth. Trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Flavian Pratt. Explorer sired by Blame out of a dam called Collection's Choice, who herself was sired by Bernardini. Explorer allocated a racing post rating of 112 for finishing fourth in the Kentucky Oaks. All in all, though, you have to say a fantastic race of the day. Shame that Classic Watch never had a runner in it. The race has been so good to Classic Watch over the years. But I was very strong on Bella Ballerina. She was a full sister to a previous winner of this race for Classic Watch, Pretty Mischievous. So once she was declared a non-runner so late, we weren't really going to look elsewhere, sadly, on this occasion. But it was a great race, nonetheless. We're going to move forward now a few hours, and we're going to head to the Southern Hemisphere. And we're going to take a look at a classic held in Australia. Next in the video, the South Australia Derby, a race held at Morphettville Park, which I think is the main track of Adelaide in South Australia. Again, South Australia racing really is what it is. I tend to focus a lot of my horses on other areas of Australia, like Victoria and New South Wales. But if I do see a nice one, I do like to chance it. But unfortunately, ahead of the South Australia Derby, none of my prior classic horses turned up for the race, and I thought there was way too many geldings in the race, really, for me to do anything with it. So it was still an interesting race, nonetheless. So let's have a look at the race now, shall we? The 2026 South Australian Derby, and then we will see what we think.
Starter holding. They're ready and they're racing in the Derby. Silver Sister only fairly away. Geneva the Kiwi began fast. Going forward was Wigmore the outside, and Silver Sister's now recovering. And not far away, Single Choice back on the inside as they go past the crowd here. And the leader on the inside is the Kiwi Geneva. Leading narrowly, second placing Wigmore the outside. Single Choice is third on the outside, KJ improving. Flying Brant is deep out in the track, and the favourite After Summer in the red jacket is trying to get around the outside too. Silver Sister and Autumn Mystery, the next pair from Engine of War. It's about 3 deep, so After Summer's in fact 4 wide there. Impulsive Reaction, the chairman winner, back midfield there, one off the fence. Then came Arabian Prince. Further back was Strictly Business, one of the 4 fillies in the race. She's back in about 5th last from Amazaki and Kane. Well back in the field then towards the rear came Kazaroo. And last of all is Savvy Santa, so it's the South Australian Flying Brant leading the race down the back. 1,600 metres to go on the South Australian Derby. Second is KJ, about a long neck to a length away now second. Third is the Kiwi. Geneva is securing a lovely run. After Summer, meanwhile, in the red jacket, she's covering extra territory on the outside. She's moving forward there. Wigmore's between runners, a length and a half away to Silver Sister. Then Single Choices. They're out down the back towards the 1,200. Engine of War is beyond midfield. It's one off the fence there. Further back is Autumn Mystery, the inside. There's another one wider out, Arabian Prince. Then came Amazaki. It's around the outside of Impulsive Reaction. It's back in about 6th last position. Further back, Strictly Business. Further back in the field, Kazaroo, Kane. And last is Savvy Santa. The big field run down the back. 1,000 metres to go on the South Australian Derby. We're about to liven things up. 800 metres to go. Flying Brant's the leader. KJ's a long neck away second. After Summer's been covering territory. Geneva's the inside of Wigmore. Then came Silver Sister trying to work into the clear. Autumn Mystery's making ground the fence and looks some chance from Single Choice. Then Engine of War, Impulsive Reaction making ground. Further back, Strictly Business. Arabian Prince gets to the outside. The Derby field's about to run for the money here. And Flying Brant left the fence. So Autumn Mystery's getting right up on the fence with Geneva. And Strictly Business is going to be nailed to the rail. They turn the corner now. They're all cutting the corner. Strictly Business has ran to the lead now from Autumn Mystery. Then Savvy Santa. Wider out was Wigmore and Single Choice. It's Strictly Business leading 200 to go. Autumn Mystery out wide on the track running on Wigmore, but still in front Strictly Business. Wigmore's going to it. Strictly Business in front. Photo. Diving the outside is Wigmore. Wigmore on the outside. Strictly Business the inside. It's a photo in the Derby. Third placing's either Autumn Mystery, who was close up from Savvy Santa, Single Choice, Impulsive Reaction, KJ. Then Amazaki, wider out in the track, Arabian Prince from Silver Sister. Further back in the field came towards the rear. We had Flying Brant, Kane, Engine of War. Further back After Summer, and last in was Kazaroo. It's a photo, and the outside is going to get it. The outside.
The commentator was correct. A storming late finish there by a horse that was actually 4th in the New Zealand Derby. earlier in the Classic Watch process, managing to land the race on the day with a late turn of foot. Wigmore, the gelding, was the winner, 40 to 1, relatively unfancied on the day, but the horse had run well in the New Zealand Derby, like I said. Wigmore, the winner, 40 to 1 shot, trained by Philip Stokes and ridden by Theodore Nugent on the day. The gelding, sired by Swainess, out of a dam called Del Mondo, an American-bred mare who was sired by More Than Ready, just got up on the line to deny the mare Strictly Business. And for that, Wigmore was allocated a Racing Post rating of 111 on the day. Second, beaten a short head, the first filly home, Strictly Business, trained by Thomas D. Carberry and ridden by John Allen. Strictly Business was sired by Grunt out of a dam called Tivoli Lass, who herself was sired by Uncle Mo. Beaten a short head on the day, Strictly Business was allocated a Racing Post rating of 105 for that race because of the filly's allowance. Third home on the day, a relatively unfancied horse as well, Autumn Mystery and another gelding. Two of the first three home in the South Australian Derby were geldings. Autumn Mystery trained by Rory Hunter and ridden by Brad Willer. Autumn Mystery sired by the Autumn Sun out of a dam called Stop Making Sense, who herself was sired by Sebring. Autumn Mystery ran to a Racing Post rating of 109. Fourth home on the day was another gelding, Single Choice, trained by Matt Kumani and ridden by Jamie Mott. Single Choice sired by Anders out of a dam called Sebring Sally, who herself was sired by Sebring. So a 3 and 4 in the race for Sebring sired dams. Single Choice was allocated a mark of 108, beaten a length. Close finish, but it was the New Zealand Derby fourth, the gelding Wigmore, that managed to land the only Southern Hemisphere classic we're going to look at in this video. We've got a couple more in the process. We've got a couple of Queensland races at Eagle Farm to take a look at. I might have found another South African race we might be able to use as well to wrap up their 3-year-old campaign. But yeah, this is the only Southern Hemisphere video that we're looking at in this classic video. Right, the next race we're going to take a look at is the first classic held in the United Kingdom. For the Colts, over a mile, the UK 2000 Guineas. And I'm pleased to report that Classic Watch 26 actually did have a runner in this race. I didn't think through the race I watched Classic Watch contender after Classic Watch contender fall away or be aimed at other races, which left just one contender in the UK 2000 Guineas. The George Bowie trained Bo Echo was flying the flag for Classic Watch 26. So without further ado, let's take a look at the race, shall we? And then we can see what we think.
Set. And they're off. In the 2026 Betfred 2000 Guineas, and Stard has broken very smartly indeed. Into the Sky goes forward. Venetian Prince and Bilkar are other prominent runners as well, together with a secret adversary in those light blue silks. Distant Storm to the far side with Needle Match. Behind the pace towards the near side is King's Trail, together with Power Blue, as they race all over the track here. And now two groups as they head the way towards halfway. Bilkar has gone forward together with Into the Sky, the secret adversary. And over on the far side, Distant Storm and Needle Match. More near side, Venetian Prince and Stardew now get to lead. Then King's Trail, Power Blue is pushed along. Then Avicenna and Oxagon. Paul Ray Dawn is further back with Bo Echo, and Lord Britain is last of all. They race now down through halfway then. It's Bilkar from Into the Sky. Needle Match and Distant Storm. Then the secret adversary. More near side, Venetian Prince together with the red cap, King's Trail. Stardish now being woken up. Then Power Blue and Bo Echo, who's moving up into it. Lots of chances
chances as they head down towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Bielka into the sky, the secret adversary, and Stard going forward in purple and white, then King's Trail. Bo Echo making his move towards the stand side as they now begin to head towards the dip, and Stard and Bo Echo now press on. Bo Echo near side in front from Stard, then the secret adversary into the sky in Distant Storm, and King's Trail wide apart here. Bo Echo and Stard on the run towards the line, and it's Bo Echo by a length and a half or two now near to the finish, and Bo Echo's going to remain unbeaten. He's won the Betfred 2000 guineas. Bo Echo from Stard, then Distant Storm into the sky, the secret adversary, Oxagon and Power Blue.
What a performance there from the Classic Watch 26 horse Bo Echo. Only one in the race identified by my website, and it was proved good enough to take out the UK 2000 guineas Classic Watch 26 victory, courtesy of the George Bowie trained Bo Echo. Beautifully ridden on the day by Billy Lochnan. The horse came through with a withering turn of foot, I think, and comfortably, I thought, held off the Coolmore runner in the closing stages, Gustad, to win the race. That shows the advantage, really, of not picking inferior horses in the first two races, really. The Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky Oaks, and the South Australian Derby might not have fallen for us, but this race certainly did. And my little website has taken advantage, it's fair to say, with yet another classic victory, courtesy of Bo Echo. Bo Echo, trained by George Bowie and ridden by Billy Lochnan. The horse sired by Night of Thunder, out of a dam called Aristocratic Lady, who herself was sired by Invincible Spirit. 2 3/4 length victory on the day, and a fantastic racing post rating of 127. Very good. And that was well earned. 2 3/4 length victory over Gustad. A good opponent on the day, but he had to settle for the runners-up spot. Gustad, trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore. The horse sired by an Australian-bred stallion, Star Spangled Banner, out of a dam called Mosa Mine, who herself was sired by Exceed and Excel, another Australian-bred stallion there. So a good horse by, well, a horse that was known for siring in Australia. Very good horse, Gustad, beaten 2 3/4 lengths on the day and given a racing post rating of 120 for finishing second. Those two pulled a long way clear, 10 3/4 lengths to the third. A good, consistent victory for the first two. Distant Storm, arguably the best of the rest, 10 3/4 lengths back in third. The horse trained by Charlie Appleby and ridden by William Buick. The horse sired Distant Storm by Night of Thunder, out of a dam called Date with Destiny, who is known for being the only living foal sired by George Washington. So he hasn't done too bad as a stallion, has he? Another classic place as a dam sire. Distant Storm allocated a mark of 101 for that race, but on the day, not in the same league as the runner-up. Fourth on the day was Jim Boyle. Jim Boyle, a very creditable run for a trainer not necessarily known for running horses at this level. Into the Sky, a good 12 lengths behind though in fourth. Into the Sky, trained by Jim Boyle and ridden by Kieran Schumacher. The horse sired by Starman, out of a dam called Kemble, who herself was sired by Kodiak. Into the Sky was allocated a racing post rating of 98 for finishing fourth in the Classic. No more Classic Watch runners in the race, just the one winner. So there's no other horses to look at in the race. I thought, like I said, the race what it was what it was before it was ran. And it was very satisfying to take the race out. The next race we're going to take a look at, we're going to head back to the United States of America now for arguably the feature classic out in the USA, the Kentucky Derby. A race held at Churchill Downs. Classic Watch 26 again had fun and games in this race. We had a Paladin before the race that was fell off the trail due to injury. I then had a couple in the lead up to the race as well. Silent Tactic and the Puma, also horses that failed to make the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby after I'd done the videos. So I only managed to set three colts off in this race. One of them was from America, Further Ado, who had already won a Group 1 trial. The other two horses, we have the UAE 2000 Guineas winner, the Group 3 UAE 2000 Guineas winner, also a runner-up in the Group 2 UAE Derby, a horse called Six Speed, who was actually the first UAE identified runner on any Classic Watch series, which was nice to see. And we also had a Japanese runner in the Kentucky Derby as well, running for Classic Watch, courtesy of the Maxfield sired horse, Danon Bourbon. So an interesting racing prospect for the Kentucky Derby, as always. So without further ado, again, courtesy of bloodhorse.com, let's take a look at the race, shall we, and see what we think. As again, Bloodhorse refuses to go into full screen. Kentucky Derby.
They're in the gates. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And a great start early for So Happy and Wonder Dean. Wonder Dean racing out there with speed, and so too Six Speed from the far outside. And down toward the rail is Danon Bourbon, 4 across the track by the stands for the first time. And here comes Six Speed with his speed, and Six Speed leads the way with a circuit to go. So Happy just off racing in second to Danon Bourbon toward the inside third. A charge in behind them. Incredible is buried at the inside fourth. Potente bounced around in fifth, 3 wide. Emerging Market in 6th, 4 wide. Wonder Dean in 7th, 5 wide. Pavlovian in 8th. Further Ado's racing in 9th. Chief Wallaby reserved, while 10th Robusta is 11th. Intrepido toward the inside is racing in 12th. And then it's Commandment by another 2 to Incredible, who's already 12 lengths off the lead, and then another margin of 8 lengths back. Renegade is 15 lengths off the lead down the backstretch run as they head toward the far turn. O'Sully's alongside him. Albus and Golden Tempo so far behind. 46 and 2, a spirited half mile. They hit the far turn. Six Speed has the speed. Does he have the stamina? They round the far turn. Danon Bourbon is poised. So Happy 3 wide right there. An Emerging Market is sent through toward the inside, has to quicken. Further Ado. Commandment is coming with his rally now as they round the far turn, and O'Sully is picking it up with a wide bid as they come for the top of the stretch where Danon Bourbon has taken charge. Danon Bourbon's off the turn and he's got a 3-length lead heading for the 8th pole. O'Sully and Commandment are closing in. Renegade rolling down the top of the track, and Golden Temple from far behind. Danon Bourbon trying to fend off O'Sully. Renegade, and here's Golden Tempo from off the pace to win the Derby, and a racing-defining win for Cherie DeVoe.
What a performance there from Golden Tempo to land the 2026 Kentucky Derby for trainer Cherie DeVoe. I do think she was the first woman to train the winner of the great race out in America, the Kentucky Derby. So all credit to her. I'm waiting for the commentator to come in and talk over me like he did last time in the Kentucky Oaks, but that doesn't seem to be happening in this video, does it? So a very good run there from Golden Tempo to take out the Kentucky Derby. Sadly, Classic Watch 26.great/site.net denied on the day. A fantastic performance from Golden Tempo to land the Derby. Golden Tempo trained by Cherie DeVoe and ridden by Josie Ortiz. The horse sired by Curlin out of a dam called Carumba, who herself was sired by Bernardini. The horse managed to win the Derby by a neck, and the horse allocated a Racing Post rating of 118 on the day. Beaten a neck in second place for owner Mike Rapoli was Renegade. Renegade trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. Renegade sired by Intermischief out of a dam called Spice is Nice, who herself again was sired by Curlin. So it's fair to say that Curlin had a good Kentucky Derby, siring the winner and the dam sire of the second. Renegade beaten the neck, another one allocated a racing post rating of 118 on the day. Renegade, a horse beaten by Paladin. So it was good to see him hold up the Paladin form anyway. Paladin fell off the Kentucky Derby trail, sadly, through injury. Third home on the day was an outsider and one of the reserves on the day, Ocelli. Put in an absolutely incredible run, really, at odds of 71-1 to finish third, beaten only one length. Ocelli, trained by D. Whitworth Beckman and ridden by Tyler Gaffalione on the day. The horse sired by Connect out of a dam called Zalia, who herself was sired by Scat Daddy. Ocelli allocated a racing post rating of 116. I think if he managed to win, he would have been the first maiden to have ever won the Kentucky Derby and to settle for coming third. An absolutely fantastic run, and Connections can be proud. Fourth home on the day, meaning Classic Watch didn't get one in the first four, sadly. Chief Wallaby was fourth. Chief Wallaby, trained by William Mott and ridden by Junior Alvarado. The horse sired by Constitution out of a dam called Alla Lucy, who herself was sired by Magalia Doro. Chief Wallaby ran to a racing post rating of 114. We best scroll down now and take a look at the Classic Watch horses. Dan on Bourbon was the first home for the Classic Watch site. He could only finish fifth on the day for Japan. Dan on Bourbon, trained by Manabu Ikazoe and ridden by Atsuya Nishimura. The horse sired by Maxfield out of a dam called Wild Ridge, who herself was sired by Tappet. Dan and Bourbon allocated a mark of 112 for finishing fifth. The next horse that was chanced was in 11th place, sadly. Further Ado, beaten 8 1/4 lengths, can only finish 11th. Further Ado, trained by Brad H. Cox and ridden by John Velasquez on the day. Further Ado, sired by Gunrunner out of a dam called Sky Dreamer, who herself was sired by Sky Messer. Further Ado only allocated a racing post rating of 102 for finishing 11th in the Classic, going off the 51-10 favourite on the day. And the other Classic Watch horse could only finish 13th on the day. The UAE 2000 Guineas winner, 6 Speed, trained by Bupat Seema and ridden by jockey Brian Joseph Hernandez Jr. 6 Speed was sired by, not this time, out of a dam called Browse, who herself again was sired by Medaglia d'Oro. 6 Speed beaten 17 3/4 lengths on the day, running to a racing post rating of only 83 when finishing in 13th position. So this race really has to go down as a disappointment for my site, Classic Watch 26, to have 3 runners in it and to only have 1 in the first 5. Definitely not my finest hour, but mitigating circumstances, I did have another 3 that were going to be thrown at the race who could have made a difference, I think, on the day, especially Paladin, who was always my number 1, and it was a shame that he managed to fall off the Classic trail so early in the process. But yeah, very good race, and congratulations to Connections of Golden Tempo in winning the Kentucky Derby of 2026. The next race we're going to take a look at is the first Classic in the UK for mares. We're going to take a look now at the UK 1000 Guineas, which was held the day after, the 3rd of May, on the day after the UK 2000 Guineas. Classic Watch 26 actually had 3 representatives in this race. Top class 2-year-old Venetian Sun, winner of the Prix Morny out in France, was one of them. And the other 2 were Abashiri, trained by Charlie Appleby, and a Shadwell horse, Too Lean, which I think was trained by Owen Burrows. So again, chucking another 3 horses at the race, but again from Coolmore. I wasn't really at the time with any of the Coolmore horses in this race. Very interesting race, I thought it was, the UK 1000 Guineas. So without further ado, let's take a look at the race, shall we? And see what we think.
And they're off in the Betfred 1000 guineas. Asleet was a little slow to get into stride. Evolutionist taking them along early with Silenciosa in the orange. Venetian Sun broke well towards the far side with Too Lean. Down the centre is My Highness, the all blue of Godolphin, being followed by Inish Moore, with True Test in that group in company with Time for Showcasing. Towards the right, Venetian Lace is leading a group that includes Muba Seema, and behind that one is Abashiri, and then the yellow cap of Darnhot Gallop in company with True Love and Domina Ignis in that group as well, with Precise over on the far side in purple and white, the favourite Ryan Moore at the moment, following Venetian Sun, as the field are now reaching the halfway point in the Betfred 1000 guineas, and it is Venetian Lace that just leads on the near side group to Abashiri. Over on the far side, Evolutionist chased along with My Highness, and then Time for Showcasing. Inishmore Silencios, the prettiest star, is next, making very good headway is True Love, the near side, as they head past the bushes and run down towards the two. Venetian Lace, Abashiri trying to challenge the near side, then True Love, Precise getting going the extreme left, Evolutionist in the centre, then My Highness and Inishmore as the field run down into the dip here. Evolutionist in the centre, Precise the far side, True Love the near side with Venetian Lace, and then Abashiri meeting rising ground, half a furlong to go. True Love and Wayne Lorden have got to the front from Evolutionist, and True Love has won the 1000 guineas to Evolutionist. Venetian Lace was next, and then in fourth, the prettiest star.
A fantastic performance there, I think, by the Wayne Lorden ridden True Love to land the UK 1000 guineas at Newmarket. A landmark victory, it's fair to say, for his stallion, No Nay Never. The first ever horse sired by No Nay Never to win a classic. Sire of many good top-class 2-year-olds who have won at the highest level. The horse to me, the stallion to me, has flattered to deceive on so many occasions, in my opinion. But there can be no disputing that the stallion has done the job there in emphatic style to land his first classic. No Nay Never, congratulations. There were times I thought it would never come, to be honest, but he has done it. True Love, winner of the UK 1000 guineas, sired by No Nay Never, out of a dam called Alluringly, who herself was placed in an Oaks, sired by Fastnet Rock. The horse trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden on the day by Wayne Lorden. Very good performance. Racing Post rating of 115 on the day for a convincing, I think, 1 3/4 length victory. I don't think there was any excuses on the day. And I was so impressed with the filly that I decided to move forward with True Love after this race and add her to my Classic Watch 26 squad this season. Evolutionist ran a fantastic race, I thought, to finish second. I think the horse was a trial winner in France somewhere. Evolutionist, trained by Carl Burke and ridden by Shane Foley. The horse sired by Knight of Thunder out of a dam called Model Guest, who herself was sired by Showcasing. Evolutionist finished 1 3/4 lengths behind and was allocated a Racing Post rating of 111 for doing so. Third home on the day was Venetian Lace, rather surprised a few people at 33-1. Venetian Lace trained by Charlie Johnston and ridden on the day by Jason Hart. Venetian Lace sired by Massar out of a dam called Nash Nasha, who herself was sired by Jubawi. 2 1/4 lengths further behind, Venetian Lace ran to a Racing Post rating of 110. And fourth home on the day, surprising some people, was the Prettiest Star at odds of 16-1. Finished fourth, 3 1/2 lengths behind. The Prettiest Star trained by Ed Walker and ridden by Kieran Schumark. The horse sired by Starman out of a dam called Ediva, who herself was sired by Kingman. The Prettiest Star allocated a Racing Post rating of 107 on the day. So, yeah, again, Classic Watch 26 failing to take out the UK 1000 guineas. It's impossible to recommend a horse who's sired by a horse that had never won a Classic, wasn't it, really? They finished rather in a bunch, the Classic Watch horses. Abashiri was the first home of the Classic Watch horses in 5th place. Abashiri, trained by Charlie Appleby and ridden by William Buick. The horse sired by Frankel, out of a dam called Sabetsu, who herself was sired by Jubawi. Abashiri, finishing 4 lengths behind, allocated a Racing Post rating of 106. And in 6th home, another Classic Watch horse, Tulane. Tulane, trained by Owen Burrows and ridden on the day by Safi Osborne. The horse sired by Lope de Vega, out of a dam called Taliyeb, who herself was sired by Dan Silly. Tulane, 4.5 lengths behind. In 6th place, was allocated a Racing Post rating of 105. Venetian Sun was the 3rd Classic Watch horse home in the race, and she could only finish 11th, beaten 6 lengths in total. Venetian Sun, trained by Carl Burke and ridden by Clifford Lee. The horse sired by Starman, out of a dam called Johara, who herself was sired by Ifraj. A Racing Post rating of 101, allocated by Venetian Sun on the day. You have to say that she weakened, really, and I wasn't entirely sure that she saw out the 1 mile trip on the day. And in fact, the horse has already been sent sprinting again by Connections on her next start after the UK 1,000 guineas. So it looks like that experiment might well be over when it comes to her staying a mile, Venetian Sun. But yeah, 3 in the top, 2 in the top 10, 5th and 6th place, Classic Watch, the best they could do. But a good winner, an honest winner, a very well bred on the damn side horse, True Love. And hopefully there'll be more of her to come in future classic videos. Who knows at this stage. But yeah, good performance by True Love on the day to take the race out. We're going to move forward a week now to the 10th of May 2026 and finish the video by taking a look at 2 classics in France. The first race we're going to take a look at is for the Colts, the the French 2,000 guineas, the Poule d'Essai de Poulain. Again, Classic Watch had plenty of horses running for it on this day. So many, really, that I can't remember them because the video is quite a way in. I had them in my memory when I started the video. Let me just pause this video quickly, and then I'll be able to recap the French 2,000 guineas winners that Classic Watch had running for them. I'll be back shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Yeah, I sent a few off in this race because a lot of them that I was hoping to run at Newmarket did turn up here. Hankelo for Carl Burke was one of them. The Classic Watch site also had the odds-on favourite, Puerto Rico, trained by Aidan O'Brien, as well as Dorset, representing the same Connections. And out of the French race horses, 2 work-timer F-Rare horses also lined up for Classic Watch 26. In this video, they were called Nighttime and Elastic. So without further ado, let's take a look at the French 2,000 guineas now, and then we will be able to see what we think after the race.
And off, raced over a mile. Kovikov probably the slowest away. Hankelo in the yellow bounces out well, and the dark blue of Puerto Rico wants to be bang up there as well. Wooden Centurion deep on the course. He'd be almost extreme right of this picture is there. Imperia, blue and gold, and the green jacket of Rayef on the running rail, and in purple Dorset's right in behind those. Como Rebbe and his Elastic are the next pair, and then comes Kovikov, and behind this is Goodbye Manu with the orange sleeves. Nighttime one from the back of the field in company with Mihas and Seagull in pink colours is last. Hankelo
and the pictures are from
here as they head on down towards
so
halfway.
Without further ado, let me pause this video and I will try.
Oh, we're back. In green, Rayef is in third by about a neck to favourite Puerto Rico. Dark blue colours positioned in 4th at the moment. Dorset in purple is right in behind him. Then Imperia with the gold sleeves. Kovikov, a brown jacket, red cap up the running rail. Como Rebbe, Mihas and Elastic are next, and then Seagull in pink, who's made progress around the outside of Nighttime, and Goodbye Manu, and those are the last couple of runners, but they are coming into the home straight. Hankelo in the yellow continues to have the lead. Wooden Centurion can't keep up in 2nd place. Puerto Rico and Dorset both launching their challenges to the right. Como Rebbe coming there as well. Rayef is off to the left in the green colours. Hankelo in front here from Rayef in 2nd position. Como Rebbe is moved into 3rd. Puerto Rico under strong driving is beginning to stay on. Look at Nighttime from the back of the field as well, but Rayef Raif has taken it up with Barcelona. Comarebi comes to join Hankelo for second, but Raif is the winner. Judge second, blue of Comarebi, Hankelo and the yellow either side, and slightly ahead of Puerto Rico, who ran only fourth. To Raif is the winner. Comarebi just in second. The 5 was hanging a bit in the closing stages. Hankelo, pace setter, third. Number 3, Puerto Rico behind that. Elastic 11 was behind those.
Pretty good race, I thought that was in the end. I thought that the pace was genuine and it was a good race, a good renewal of the race. Classic Watch denied, really. They all finished in a bit of a heap just behind the first 2. Look at that, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Denied on the day, Classic Watch. But congratulations to the winner, who put in a good performance, I thought, on the day, Raif. Trained by Francis Henri Graffard and ridden by the Aga Khan's retained stable jockey, Mikel Barcelona. Sired by See the Moon, a German-bred stallion, out of a dam called Raisa, who herself was sired by Holy Roman Emperor. I thought the horse stayed on well, and there was no fluke about the victory, was there? It was a very good run, and it kept on well at the end to win by a length, and the horse was allocated a Racing Post rating of 120 for that performance. Still Bo Echo, head and shoulders above everything else we've seen in this video. Second home on the day was Comarebi for Godolphin, and ran a pretty good race as well, it's fair to say. Comarebi, trained by Andre Farb and ridden by William Buick. The horse sired by Pinatubo, out of a dam called Lyric of Light, who herself was sired by Street Cry. Pinatubo just swamped Hankelo, the first Classic Watch horse home, and he was allocated a Racing Post rating of 117 on the day. Comarebi. Third home on the day, Classic Watch placed, was Hankelo, the first home of the Classic Watch horses. Hankelo, trained by Carl Burke and ridden by Clifford Lee, horse sired by Knight of Thunder, out of a dam called Sagaciously, who herself was sired by Lawman. Hankelo, a good, bold, front-running effort, just swamped in the closing stages. Well, not swamped, only 2 went past him. He managed to finish a length and a quarter down in third, and he was also allocated the same Racing Post rating as Comarebi, a mark of 117. Fourth home on the day, and it has to go down as a rather disappointing run for the odds-on favourite, Puerto Rico. Dual Group 1 winning 2-year-old, Puerto Rico. Trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore. The horse sired by Wootton Bassett, out of a dam called April Showers, who herself was sired by Galileo. Wootton Bassett, Puerto Rico just not quite getting to the head of the race, it's fair to say. Running to a Racing Post rating of 116. And fifth home on the day was the first French horse home from Classic Watch 26, Elastic. Elastic, trained by Christophe Furland and ridden by Stéphane Pasquier. The horse sired by Lope de Vega, out of a dam called Solilia, who herself was sired by Galileo. Elastic, a Racing Post rating of 114 on the day. Sixth home, another Classic Watch horse, 1, 2, 3 there in 4, 5 and 6 for Classic Watch. Night time, you have to say the first choice really of the work time referred horses, if you look at the prices in the jockey bookings. Night time, trained by Christopher Head and ridden by Maxime Guillaume. The horse sired by Wootton Bassett, out of a dam called Daytime, who herself was sired by Frankel. Night time, a Racing Post rating of 113 on the day for that colt. Another horse, and the last one home, we had all our horses in the first 10 in this race. As the other Aidan O'Brien horse, we tried Dorset, managed to finish 8th, beaten 6.5 lengths on the day. Dorset, trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by jockey Christophe Soumillon. Another one sired by Wootton Bassett, out of a dam called Snowflakes, who herself was sired by Galileo. Dorset weakened, I think, at the later stages of the race. The winner of the Goss Million, and the horse was allocated on this day a Racing Post rating of 105 for finishing 8th in the Classic. So again, slightly disappointing for Classic Watch 26, the first French Classic of the season. Managed to get one placed, third, fourth, fifth and eighth. But again, when you throw in 4 horses at the race, to not be able to take it out has to go down really as a slight disappointment for the first Classic in France, it's fair to say. Right, I need to stop the video again because, rather like the last race, I've forgotten which horses we had running for us in the French 1,000 guineas, which is the last Classic we're going to take a look at in this video. So let me just pause the video and let me refresh my mind. I'll be back shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back. Yes, just the 2 horses went to post for Classic Watch 26 in the French 1,000 guineas. They were the short price favourite Diamond Necklace, trained by Aidan O'Brien, and another French bred horse owned by Wertheimer Effrere. A horse that actually chased home Diamond Necklace in the big Group 1 2-year-old race of last season at Longchamp, the pre-Marcel Boussac. So it wasn't really, I suppose, any surprise to see both these line up in the French 1,000 guineas, and that horse was called Green Spirit. So without further ado, let's take a look at the French 1,000 guineas now, and then we will see
That's it,
what
all
we
in.
think.
And ready. And off. They come away fairly decent line as they get out. Xanthos in company with Emily and also the nose-banded Isla Fernandez amongst the first to show. Half Sovereign, Alashkaya and Shona not far away. Diamond Necklace is the blue and orange colours as they settle. Should be about halfway down the field. Radiant is the back marker, Maintain and also Green Spirit towards the rear. In red it is Xanthos who leads to the noseband of Isla Fernandez in second. Shona in yellow and maroon colours of Half Sovereign. Diamond Necklace against the running rail. Anashkaya is free and around the outside of her, and then comes Emily in the blue and white. The Last Dance white sleeve jacket on the inside of Narissa, a length and a half behind these to Fashion City and then Radiant. Venosa in dark blue is next, a pink cap for Maintain behind these. Baclar was on the right in the yellow, and Green Spirit is the one getting all the mud in her face at the back of the field. Xanthos comes towards the home turn, about a length ahead. Isla Fernandez running in second position. Shona, Half Sovereign either side, 3-4. Emily in blue and white colours on the heels of these. Anashkaya is next, and Diamond Necklace will go for a run towards the left against the running rail as they head down to the closing stages. Narissa's coming from the back of the field. It is Xanthos. Diamond Necklace, though, storms through against the far side running rail. From the back of the field, Green Spirit's going to follow up the inside rails. The Last Dance has moved into second. Diamond Necklace it is, clear as they race to the line. From the Last Dance in second. Green Spirit on the running rail got into third place. Narita and Shona behind those, and then came Fashion City. Well, this was backed as if defeat was out of the question, and they collected. Diamond Necklace number 13 held up on the running rail. Brian Moore waiting for the gap to come, the cutaway, taking it, and she settled it. Second was the Last Dance number 12. Green Spirit attempted to follow Diamond Necklace up the running rail. Well, she did, but not as quickly. Then Narissa behind those.
What a performance from the Aidan O'Brien trained filly Diamond Necklace to take out the last race we're going to take a look at in this video. Excuse me, for Classic Watch 2026, the second Classic out of 7 that the site has managed to land in this video. This one, I would say, one of the more easier ones. You know, you had the first and the third from the pre-Marcel Boussac last year, finishing 2 of the first 3 positions in this race. They've both maintained their form very well throughout the winter, and it remains to be seen what happens in the rest of the French Classics, but one of the more easier ones to take out, I do think, for people who look at these things properly. Diamond Necklace ran out a very good winner on the day, I thought. Diamond Necklace, trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore. The horse sired by St. Mark's Basilica out of his first 3-year-old crop, out of a mare called Prudenzia, who herself was sired by Dan Silly. I thought she won very comfortably indeed, it's fair to say. And for that, she was allocated a Racing Post rating on the day of 116, which I think is fair enough. I think she was more value than the 3-length official winning margin. The Last Dance finished second. You have to say she ran well. The 11-1 shot finishing 3 lengths behind the winner. The Last Dance, trained by Christoph and Leanne Lerner and ridden on the day by jockey Christoph Sumion. The horse sired by Ifraj, out of a dam called Mary's Precedent, who herself was sired by Storming Home. Last Dance allocated a Racing Post rating of 108, 8 less than Diamond Necklace for a 3-length victory. Third home on the day was the other Classic Watch 26 horse. So first and third on the day, you have to say the site did quite well in this race, although I was quite disappointed that Green Spirit never got closer to the winner. She is a horse I like. Green Spirit, a horse sired by Kingman, out of a dam called Sapphire Pendant, who herself was sired by Daniel Dancer. The horse trained by Christopher Head and ridden by Maxime Guillon. The horse 4.5 lengths behind in third place, running to a Racing Post rating on the day of 105. Fourth home on the day was Narissa for the Aga Khan. Narissa, a horse sired by Siuni, out of a dam called Narmeen, who herself was sired by Le Havre. Narissa, trained by Francois-Henri Graffard and ridden by Mikel Barcelona, 4 3/4 lengths behind in fourth place, allocated a Racing Post rating of 104. Very interesting race, I thought that was. A very good race on the day, arguably producing one of the most conclusive victories that we've seen in the video, courtesy of Diamond Necklace. Hard to say she wasn't by far and away the best there in the French 1,000 guineas, wasn't it? Right, I think that's enough reviewing today. We've got 7 classics reviewed. We've still got a list as long as my elbow to catch up on. So we're going to leave it there, and we might be back at some point to review some more classics at some point. Thank you very much to everybody for sitting and watching this video with me. I hope you all enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. What I can offer you at the end of this video is I can offer you an opportunity to subscribe to the channel. That way you will not miss any more of my videos moving forward. If you do a little bit of work in the apps, in the YouTube app or on the desktop, you can enable it through the YouTube notifications manager to tell you every time I upload a video. And you will not miss any more of my videos moving forward, which could be quite useful for you. You know, you've sat and watched this video for nearly an hour. You know, there might be a chance that you might want to watch some more. So why don't you subscribe to the channel and enable the notifications to give yourselves the best opportunity to do so. And I will also give you a copy of the Classic Watch 26 playlist, not the horses, the actual review section. That way, if people want to, they will be able to sit and watch all the reviews that have taken place in Classic Watch 26 this year. I think there is 3 or 4 videos. We've been taking a look at them all the way back since August the 1st, 2025 in the Southern Hemisphere. This is just another video in that sequence. So I will put a copy of that playlist as well, so people will be able to review all the horses at the same time. But for now, I think I'm going to leave this video here. It's a fascinating weekend's racing in prospect. It's the French Oaks. We had the French Derby a fortnight ago. The French Oaks is going to take place this weekend at Chantilly. We've just taken a look at the French 1,000 guineas, where maybe some of the same horses might be going round again. That remains to be seen as we finish through the week. Final declarations will come out Friday, and then we will have a proper look. Not much racing going on in the UK this weekend. In fact, I think there's only 2 listed races on Saturday. So I will bid you a fond farewell in this video now. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Look after yourselves and each other. Don't forget to check out the Patreon as well over at Newman Racing at some point. You never know. That might be for you as well. ClassicWatch26.great/site.net for all the classic videos of the horses. And there's also the YouTube playlist as well. But for now, take care, everybody, and I will bid you a fond farewell. Look after yourselves and each other, and I hope to be back at some point. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.